All right, guys. Today we have Victor the Brick Martinez.
What's up, guys?
Thank you so much for being on here,
I
man.
appreciate you having me.
Thank you, bro. The Brick, Victor the Brick Martinez. Where does that nickname come from? Where did it start?
Shit, so it like a friend of mine gave it to me like a while back. It was after my first fight. I was 18. Yeah, I was 18, and my friend, he trained. He still he doesn't train as much no more, but he his name's Tom Moreno. I don't know if you know him.
I haven't met him yet.
What high school did you go to?
Bears.
Okay, no, never mind. He's a teacher at Wolverines.
Okay.
And he's older than me and stuff, but me and him are good friends. And after my first fight, I had hurt that opponent. I took my first fight at 170, so I was already too small for that weight class, and I was like hitting him, and I was hurting him, but he wasn't falling, you know. So after that fight, he's like, "Oh, Victor Brick," and I was like, "Damn, well, I mean." Like, I didn't win, you know, I didn't knock him out or anything, so I didn't want to like start calling myself that. And then I won my first victory was a knockout, and then he kept calling me that, like, I'm Victor Brick, and this and that or whatever, and I was just like, nah, I'm alright with it, right? So then I just took it and it became this.
It became a big thing following, man. I've seen T-shirts, logos everywhere.
Well, I'm trying to make it big, you know. I like the logo. But, like, you know, you can do a lot of things with it and stuff, so I'm just trying to mess with it, and it'll be badass to see it blow up, you know, and I'm trying to make shirts and shit,
nice.
So I can, like, just push my logo out, you know,
for sure.
And it'll be cool if like, after I'm done fighting, I can continue doing that with my logo and stuff, but we'll see. I kind of just mess around with it, play with it. This is another logo that I made recently. Well, not I didn't make it. Yvette Oliveira.
Okay.
She's still
right.
she's my friend. She's a friend of mine, and she's really good artist, you know. And so I would just hit her up like, hey, so I got this is the idea. Like, I'll just tell her like this is what I got, but you do your thing. You know what I mean? Like, don't worry about it. And then she's like, all right. And then I told her I wanted something like this, and she just made it like that. And I was like, damn, that's perfect. I like that. And I have other things that she's done for me. The one who created my brick logo, like the first one was my friend Eli. He went to Bears.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Where did you graduate?
2010.
Oh shit, he graduated 09. You
okay.
Eli Medina.
I have to see.
Okay. And I told him, I was like, hey bro, like, make me a logo, you know, make me something like a break or something, right? And he made my first the first logo ever, you know. He made it for me, and I was like, damn, I like that, you know. And but he's a firefighter and he's busy and stuff, so for me to be hitting him up like, hey, can you draw this out for me? Like, it takes a lot of time for him. So I started asking Yvette, and Yvette started doing different stuff with it, and I like the way she works with it. Like, she added the shoes, like the shoes is how
I saw the one with Vegas, and that was a badass logo. It was like it had like buildings in the back. It said,
oh, she did that one too.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like walking down the strip. Yeah.
Super nice.
She did that one too. Also.
Nice, man. For those of you that don't know, Victor just had his UFC debut last month on the 25th.
Yeah.
And I was looking up some stats on, maybe people don't know, on how difficult it truly is, how miraculous it is to get into the UFC. Here in the Valley, the McAllen metro area is about 1 million in population, and in Texas we're just over 130 million. So 1 out of 130 million chance you got into the UFC. How do you feel about that? Congratulations, first of all.
Oh, thank you.
How do you feel about that? That's a crazy number.
Well, I didn't even know. You know, we were just talking about that. Yeah. I didn't even know those numbers. You know, I mean, I knew it was gonna be difficult, like, to make it in any sport. You know, like, it's to make it to that top level, like, it's gonna be hard, right? But I didn't know it was gonna be that hard to make it to the, like number wise with numbers and stuff. I didn't know it was gonna be that hard.
That's just Texas, bro. There's still, you know,
the US, whole world. Yeah.
Just in Texas, you made it, man.
I mean, there is a lot of fighters. You know, there's a lot of competition, and some people just make it. Some people don't. You know, and it sucks because some people invest a lot of time and everything, and they fall short and shit. You know, but I mean, it feels good. You know, it feels like all the hard work I've done in the past years and everything has gotten me to here. You know, even my losses. You know, like I had my debut on the 25th of last month, and I lost um, TKO and stuff. But man, I feel like I learned more on that than I did. I was in a 7-fight win streak, so I wanted to add that 8. You know, I was like, man, let's see how long. Let's see if I can continue my streak.
Yeah.
With my UFC debut added on there, but it didn't go as planned, but I'm not even like stressing about it. I'm still training hard, and Diego has a fight now, so I'm helping him out. I'm not gonna say who or whatever.
Yeah.
I'd rather him announce it, but he has a fight. He has something coming up, so I'm just helping him out, and it helps me out too because it keeps me like on check. You know, it
For
keeps
sure.
me like I gotta go to the gym because he needs somebody to be there to help him out. And we're gonna make our trips up to Dallas, and I'm gonna tag along, so I can train with those guys up there too.
Are you training already for your next fight?
I don't have anything lined up, but I mean I'm just training to help him out. I'm not being like super strict on myself right now, but I'm there, you know, every training session to help him out and just be a body, a partner. But I'm hoping to fight like in the summer, like
Nice.
I would like June or July latest. I don't want to take too much time off. I just want to like stay busy, you know what I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
and see how it goes.
What opportunities from your debut did you see? You know what, I got to work on this specific thing for whatever your next fight is.
To be honest with you, I think this like fight, I need to work more like my head, like my mind. You know what I mean?
Okay.
My training was good. Everything went smooth in this camp. I felt good. Just fighting with myself in my own head. You know what I mean? Like the whole time I'm there, and like negative thoughts come in. I'm trying to push them out, and then I'm doing good, thinking positive, and then negative. You know what I mean? So it's just like a roller coaster. And what sucks is that all that arguing with myself happened while I was like already like you ready? All right, start walking. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh fuck. All right, so I'm walking and I'm going through this in my mind, and I'm trying to like just keep it cool and just be like, nah, like get all that out of your head. You know, like let's go in there and do this. You know, and I was trying to kind of keep that same mindset as I did for the Contender Series, because when I fought in the Contender Series, I don't know. It was the same arena. Everything was the same. I think it was just the name, you know, like UFC on the glove, you know, all that, and that added more pressure to it, you know. But the Contender Series, man, I fought really good. I feel like I fought really good that fight, and I did the same thing for this camp. I trained with the same people. I made a move over there in Dallas. I was out there for 2 weeks. I even stayed longer. And Contender Series, I think I only did like I would go and come. I didn't stay out there. This time I stayed out there. But I mean, it's like they say, like sometimes you do everything right, and then you just fall short. You know what I mean? So I think for this fight, I need to just be a little bit more confident in myself, and like when I'm in there, just like, all right, like take it all in and just not take and like leave it out there. You know,
Sure.
like don't hold back. You know, and I feel like I was fighting with myself too much. Like, should I throw? Should I not? Do I go in? Do I go not? And he was teeing off, and he was taking off already. And I could see it in his face, like, man, this guy's comfortable already. He already got his range. And I was still trying to catch up to that. And by the time it happened, it was already too late.
I know that an internal battle, because I myself like to overthink a lot. And sometimes before I have a conversation, I've already gone through every question, every response. How do I respond to that?
Yeah.
Is that something similar where you're like, if he hits me, this is how I'm going to respond?
Yeah, I mean, you try to follow that as pinpoint, you know, as you can. But when you're in there, it's different. You know what I mean? It's a little different. But yeah, I mean, exactly like that. You know, like, man, if he gets me in this position, how am I gonna get out? Or like, if he does this to me, I'm gonna do that. Or like, you know what I mean? If he throws this, I'm gonna go this way, and then I'm gonna throw this from here, whatever. So you start thinking all that.
Yeah.
But and then all those things that you think about might not even happen in the fight. You know what I mean? So it's just you kind of just have to like just. My coach say from when we're in the back warming up for this last fight, he's like, live in the moment. You know what I mean? Like live in every 5 seconds. Don't hold back. And I was like, man, I like in my head I was like, live in the moment. Okay, like do not go back. don't be thinking about the past 5 seconds that just passed. Like, live in the moment that you're in right now. When you're in there, live in those moments. Just because you get hit, like, don't start dwelling on that. Like, oh, he hit me good there, and then you start. It's like a snowball effect, you know.
Sure.
So, that I was trying to get that stuck in my head the whole time I was walking. I was like, live in the moment. Like, don't think about it. Just do your thing, you know. But when I got in there, it was just totally different. But I mean, that's something that stuck with me, and now I'm always telling myself that like man, all right, next one I'm gonna get it. You know what I mean? And I feel motivated and shit. You know, I'm gonna get it back. I'm not even worried about it. Like, people are like, oh, you lost, you how do you feel? And I'm like, man, I feel great. You know what I mean? Like, I'm too blessed to be stressed.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, I got that from one of my favorite rappers. I'm not gonna say that I came up with it, but he said it in one of his songs, and I was like, man, I like that Absol in his new album. So I just wanted to clear that out. You know what I mean? And yeah, so I'm not even worried about it. I know I'm gonna come back from that. Yeah, I've lost before. You know, like, I'm 13-4 now, 13-5. You know, I've lost before, and then I've gone on streaks, and then I lose. So I lost my first 2, and I went on like a little streak, 3 fights, 4 fights, and then I lost again, my first title, and then I won 2, and then I lost again in California, and then I went on my streak. So it's just a little bump in the road, and
Sure.
I've been here before and shit.
This reminds me of when they interviewed Tom Brady. They said, "Which one's your favorite Super Bowl?" Do you know what he responded to that?
No.
He said, "The next one."
Oh shit.
The next. I was like, that's such a powerful quote, man, because he's like, yeah, I have 6 at the time, 5 at the time, however many he had, and he's not dwelling on the past. He's like, my favorite trophy is the next one.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's exactly where you're at, man. You're not letting it bother you. You're like, you know what, the next one's mine. Yeah. You know, that's a wonderful mindset to have.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like when I lost my first 2 fights, I mean, I didn't even know what it felt to win. So like it just sucked. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, fuck, this is not for me. I'm just wasting my time. Like, why am I doing this? And then I went on my winning streak, and when I won my 3rd, I was like, man, this shit feels good. That's when I got the knockout, and they were like, Vic the break, yeah. And I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna ride with it. So when I got that one, it felt good, and that's when I was like, I want another one. You know what I mean? Because I was only supposed to fight once. Like, that's what I had told my parents back in the day. I told them, let me just try it once, and because they were like, no, go to school and all this, right?
Sure.
Which is good, you know, like, I wish I was into school. I wouldn't be doing this. I would have gone to school and do something else, right? But I'm not, so I ended up doing this, and then damn, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, going into my 3rd loss, it sucked more, you know what I mean? Because like I knew how I felt to lose. Now I knew how I felt to win, and I didn't want to feel that loss again, you know. So when I lost my 3rd fight, my third loss, when I got it, I was a little bit more depressed and stuff, and it was for my first title defense. It was my first title fight here at STFC.
Yeah, that's right.
And man, I was real down on myself, and I was just like, man, this. I felt like the whole world was gonna it was over for me and all this crap, and then. But I mean, Diego and my whole support group, you know what I mean? Like Louis too from the Shack, like
shout out Louis Palacios from the Shack.
I remember he hit me up right after my fight, and he helped me go to Albuquerque after I lost that fight. He was just like, he told me, he sent me a text. He's like, pick whatever gym you want to go to, and I'm gonna help you out. And I was like, oh shit, all right. So then he helped me out over there in Albuquerque. I stayed out there for a month, training at Jackson Wing.
Nice.
And so I've always had a real good support group, so that's always what's kept me going, you know. Absolutely. And losing this one, I mean, it sucked. I didn't want to feel like this or feel the way I felt that night, you know. But the next day, I was just like, you know what, fuck it, like, take it on the chin. It's already done. And my coach told me too, like, yeah, just like my coach from Dallas, he was checking up on me, and he was just like, let's move on from it, and let's get ready for the next one, and just take it on the chin, you know. And I was like, yeah, fuck it, it is what it is. So
absolutely. In watching the Contender Series, the post interview, I know the gentleman asked you about your 10-year plan. started back in 2015, in which the 10 years in 2015 was to get you into the UFC. You did it in 8, right?
Yeah. So when I lost my first title, like a temp here at SCFC, he did have a talk with me, and he was like, if you stick with me, give me 10 years, in 10 years I can get you into UFC, but you need to do your part too, and you need to win, like that's what he was pretty much telling me. So from then to now, every fight that I go into, especially now that I'm already in the UFC, I guess, the way I'm in the UFC, like this last fight, that wasn't running in my head. But every fight, like the Contender Series one, from when he told me to the Contender Series one, that was always in my head. Like, if I lose one more, I'm done. I'm not gonna make it to UFC. So don't lose. You know what I mean? So, and I went on that streak, and it was working for me, And there's little things that like people like pop into my head during the fight that kind of like light a fire under your ass. You know what I mean? Like, I need to move. I need to do this. Because you hear them like.
Absolutely.
Certain people, like, they motivate you and they pop in your mind and you're like, oh, fuck, I gotta go, And not that I didn't think about it like that this time, but that didn't run across my head like, oh, I need to, like, the pressure of, like, I cannot lose. The pressure of I cannot lose or I don't make it to UFC wasn't there, but the pressure of this is my UFC debut, I cannot lose was there,
For
so
sure.
It's just a lot of different shit.
I think that, and to talk on the 10 years, I think that's something a lot of any athlete doesn't really think about is patience, right? And what I mean by patience is you had a 10-year plan to get into the UFC, but prior to that, I want to kind of talk about your journey of jiu-jitsu. You have a black belt in jiu-jitsu, correct?
Yes.
How long did that journey last? Maybe roughly, an average is what?
It was like 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
The cycle repeats, right? It took you 10 years. 10 years is a long time to stay at one craft, right? I'm sure you had sucky trainings and you're like, I'm sore, I'm hurt, but you did it and you got your black belt in jiu-jitsu. And then they tell you, well, give me another 10 years. Maybe not simultaneously, but give me 10 years. And you're like, damn, like I gotta wait 10 years to get into UFC. You did it in 8. Now that you're in here, now that you're in it, are you thinking to yourself, you know what? I've been patient. I deserve this. And now you propel yourself onto the next stage, which is your next victory or your next opportunity to see how you level up.
Yeah. Well, the next thing that I want to do, like, my focus right now is just winning my next fight. I want to win my first UFC fight, and because it just makes you feel like you belong, there. I feel like that's another thing that was in my head. Like, man, I gotta win this fight because I gotta show myself that I belong here. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't trying to put too much pressure on like what people were gonna think, but I wanted to do it for myself. Like I need to win this fight because if I win this fight, I'll be confident enough to think to myself like I belong here. Yeah. In the UFC, and I didn't win it, you know what I mean? So, I mean, now I'm just like, all right, the next one I'm going to get it, and the same shit, I need to win it, you know what I mean? Like, and in the fight, in the middle of the fight, a lot of people are telling me, like, oh, you should have taken more time on that groin shot, and, like, people always tell me stuff, and I always take what, people tell me some BS, I'm just kind of like, all right, cool, whatever. And then there's people who tell me, like, good feedback, or, like, and not as in like positive, like, oh yeah, tell me positive shit, but like they'll tell me something and it makes sense, and I'm just like, yeah, you're right, you know what I mean? I should have looked at it like that. So and after my fight, Diego was like, bro, you should have taken more time on that groin shot that he gave you, because you were just teeing off, you were taking off already, like you were throwing your hands and stuff, and he hit you in the groin, and then you were so quick to get back in it. Like he's like, you should have taken your time and absorbed everything. And now I think about it, man, I should have done that. Like, looked around and like, all right, I'm here, regroup. You know what I mean? Like, all right, let's get back in it now. And maybe that would have changed something on my end, But I didn't. I was real like, I'm good. Let's go. Yeah, reversed into it.
But now in hindsight, it happens again. I'm sure you're gonna be like, hold on.
Yeah.
I've been here before.
Exactly. It's just experience, It's experience, and I mean, it's cool it went down the way it went down. I'm pretty sure we'll run into each other again. We'll fight each other again. I need to rack up some wins now because I know he is like he's climbing up. You know, he just fought before me. He fought Patty, Pimblett, out there in London and stuff.
Oh.
So, I mean, he already has his wins in the UFC. You know, he lost to Patty, but like he has like 5, 6 fights I think now, or 5 with me. So no excuses or whatever. It's whatever. But I gotta rack up some wins, and we'll probably end up fighting soon.
Nice. What is your something that again I don't think people really truthfully understand this. What is your cardio regimen like? And the reason why I ask this is because, like I mentioned, Coach Rick, which is one of the coaches here in the Valley that mentors you and helps you with the boxing. I had a small session with him, and he just had me hit the bag as many times as I could in 30 seconds. 30 seconds is not a long time, man.
Yeah.
And I was gassed. And he's like, now imagine how ugly you feel being in the ring, getting hit, not being able to stop the hit, and they continue hitting you, and your arms are tired, but do that for a whole 12 rounds. I was like, nah, fuck that. There's no way, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, now, these guys, he points at the fighters, these guys are grappling, they're getting hit, they're getting kicked, and it's so much more than just how good is your cardio, but also your mentality, right?
Yeah.
Mike Tyson said, everybody has a game plan until they get punched in the face. And then what? Now how do you react? How do you overcome that? And so I know that many boxers, I'm going to talk about a little bit about your boxing experience. Many boxers are great runners. People don't know that. They have to run and run and run and run. And you're like, why run so much? Because in the ring, your lungs need to have that capacity. Yeah, they have to have that capacity. So you have a blend of jiu-jitsu and boxing. And how do you train your cardio? What is a typical cardio regimen for you?
Well, I run. Coach Rick has me running all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially when I'm in camp, he'll be like, "Are you running, kid? Are you running, kid?" Like, "Hey, make sure you're running, kid." You know what I mean? He's always making sure I'm running. But I don't mind running. I like running. So like some days where I'm like, I'm gonna take a little chill today. I'll go for an extra mile or whatever. I won't do no more than like 3 miles. Like I think it's too much. But the most I'll ever do is on a run is like 3, And when I can finish those 3 nonstop, that's when I'm like, all right, I'm in shape. That's when I feel ready for a fight. When I start my camp, I can't even do the 3 miles. I'm like doing 1, and then I'm already like, oh shit, like I need to stop and walk a little bit. You know what I mean? But when I feel like I can do the 3 miles and I do them, like back to like straight, no stop, like good pace, I feel confident with my conditioning for the fight.
Yeah. Nice. What would you say is an ever-going challenge in your jiu-jitsu training in which you're like, you know what, man, I love to train, but this is hard, and how do you overcome that discipline? Motivation is one thing, but the discipline to get back there and do it the next day, do it again.
When I'm just training to train, like with no fight, that doesn't never cross my mind. I'm like, man, I love this shit. Like I'm another day of training. I'm gonna go in there and like just have fun, do what I love, whatever. But when I'm getting ready for a fight, it's like you wake up, all beat up and sore and shit, and you're like, fuck, man, I don't feel like going. Like, fuck this, But at the end of the day, it's like, damn, bro, like you put everything in one basket, all your eggs in one basket. You know what I mean? Like this is what you wanted to do, so suck it up and I better show up. So. There's really no, like, don't get me wrong, sometimes I'm like, it'll beat me and I'll be like, fuck it, I'm gonna take the day off. You know what I mean? But then I'll get a call from one of my coaches, and they'll be like, hey, where the fuck were you today, But, but I mean, I'm pretty good at showing up, especially when I'm in camp. And even if I'm tired and stuff, I'll just let them know, like, hey, I feel pretty beat up. Like, let's go a little lighter today or whatever, we'll work around it. But yeah, I mean, it's those thoughts run and at least in my head a lot when I'm in camp. Yeah, because sometimes I don't feel like getting up. I'm just like, fuck, I can't even move my leg and shit. You know what I mean? But
yeah, have you had a terrible injury in which you're like, man, how am I gonna get over this?
Like out of all the years I've trained and fought, my worst injury was my knee. Yeah. but I had to get knee surgery and everything not too long ago. Probably
Okay.
like I got it right after my Contender Series fight. So that's why I was sat.
Right.
I sat out for 2 years, and then now I just fought. Man.
What was running through after post surgery? Were you like, I'm gonna be back, or were you like, this sucks? Like, how do you?
At
what was
first, I was real
post-surgery?
negative about it. I was like, man, like I've seen athletes that come back from knee surgeries and it's not always the same.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And so that's one thing that ran through my head. You know, I was like, fuck, like I'm not gonna fight again. Like I wasted all my fucking time doing this, and well, not waste, but I put all my time in doing this, and this happened. You know, like, and I'm trying to get a job as a firefighter too. So if I'm injured and I can't fight, I mean, I need my knee for firefighting too. So I was just like, it kind of cancels both of them out. I'm just like, damn. So a lot of bad things were running through my head when I first injured it, like that week, you know. And then I went to go see the doctor, and the doctor was like, man, it's not, it's just your meniscus, you know. It's not a bad injury. You can come back from that. So it put a little bit more like I just felt better about it. I was like, all right, cool, you know. And then I was more looking forward to the recovery, you know. After the surgery, then I started just like, all right, what can I do to kind of speed it up a little bit, you know. And well, yeah, I mean, fuck, my knee feels better than what it did before. Like, there were certain things in jiu-jitsu that I couldn't do, even in wrestling, or be in certain, like if they had my leg a certain way or something, I would like, let me give this up, like, because I don't want him to grab my leg like this or whatever. And now I'm in those positions and I can fight out of it. I can stay there. I don't have to give up the position to make sure that my knees are right and then defend something else. You know what I mean? So I kind of just, and my knee feels good. Like, I have no problems. Like, when they kick me and stuff, that was the thing that I was scared of the most. When I first came back, I was like, man, how is it going to hold up with a kick, you know? And yeah, I sparred and I would tell the guys, like, let's start slow. Like, don't kick me too hard. And and then now, fuck. I mean, now they're kicking me pretty hard.
And in your interview with Cecilia on the Gender Diaries, I know she mentioned your why, and I'm sure, like many other Mexican, you know, fighters, we have our family in our minds, our mothers, especially our grandma. Throughout that post surgery, we're thinking, man, I gotta do this for my mom, bro. Like, I gotta come back. Like, figure it out.
For sure. Like, man, it sucked. You know what I mean? I was just like, fuck, and everybody's like, oh, you'll be alright, and I'm just like, well, yeah, but I'm not alright. You know what I mean? Like, but when the doctors told me, like, hey, it's not like you're gonna be alright, you know, like, it's not. There's athletes that come back from that type of surgery. The first thing I was like, well, my ACL is good, everything else is good, and they're like, yeah, everything was good, it's just your meniscus. So I was like, all right, cool. So then it kind of put a little bit more. I was more at ease, you know. But when I first got injured, So I injured it here, and then it was weird because my knee locked on me. I was grappling, and my knee just locked on me real hard. So I've had this injury in my knee for like 5 years already, and my knee locked on me as I was grappling, and I was like, oh shit, my knee, and I was all like yelling and shit, and then Diego and he was there, and he goes and he starts moving my knee, and he's bending it, and then I told him, I was like, kind of stretch it out, let's see if it unlocks. So he like pulled it slowly, and then I guess my meniscus flipped in, so I guess it unfolded. So when it unfolded, I was like, all right, I'm good. And I kept training, and then I trained for 2 weeks. I went to Dallas. I was training in Dallas. And again, boom, it happened. So I had to drive from Dallas 9 hours down here with my knee locked on me. I couldn't move it. To get off to pump gas, that was like a fucking show. I would pump at the pump, and I was like, damn, how the hell am I going to get in? I didn't have crutches or nothing at the time. So I was like, I would like hop on one foot. Everybody's looking at me like, what the fuck? But yeah, I mean, I had to drive home from Dallas with my knee like locked on me and shit. But I mean, I'm just glad it's good now, and I feel good from it. Shit.
How does she? Do you talk often about like your prep throughout your prep for a fight? Is your mom like? How's that conversation?
she's real supportive now, you know. At first she wasn't. At first she would be like, "Nah, you're wasting your time," and blah blah, right? But I mean, like, I don't blame her, because when I was a kid, I never played sports. I never wanted to be in sports. I never did. I did karate for a little bit. You know what I mean? I never did. I would play like the Boys and Girls Club sports, like sign up for the city far and play baseball. Like, they always had me in those type of sports, but I never did any like martial arts. And then for me, randomly, to 1 year, my junior or senior year, I'm like, oh, you know what? I want to start training to fight. She was kind of like, what the hell? You know what I mean? So she wasn't supportive at all. She wasn't supportive at all at first, and she would just be like, don't think about this as a job. You know, this is just a hobby. You're gonna go to school, blah blah. And I'll be like, yeah, okay. and my mind was already thinking other shit, right? So, but now, like I've talked with her now, and she sees the like how intense especially these last couple fights have been. You know, like, I fought for the title in Fury. That was a while back, and then I fought Luis Luna, and then I got the Contender Series shot, and then now I'm here. So, like, these past couple of fights, she'll talk to me, she'll sit down with me, she'll, how do you feel, and stuff like that, and plus I'll open up to her. Sometimes I am stressed, and sometimes I am like fighting with myself too much in my head, and I'm like, nah, plus I'm like, you know, I'm thinking too much about it right now, and she'll just be like, nah, you'll be alright, blah blah. But in the beginning, it wasn't like that. In the beginning, she didn't want to know anything about it, and she's never been to any of my fights. So to this day, she hasn't gone to any. I was trying to get her to go to my UFC debut, but my brother had to work, and she was gonna be there by herself. So she was like, "Nah, I'm gonna stay here instead." I was like, "All right, cool." So
you gotta get out there.
Yeah. I want her to go to at least one. You know what I mean? I told her, I was like, "You gotta go to one of my UFC fights at least."
Absolutely. I know the quote is like, behind every great man is a great woman, but in my experience of very successful people, I think that mother figure or wife or whoever, it's not really behind you, man. They're right next to you, because as you fall, they're like, hey, get up, right? Yeah. I don't see it no more as they're behind you, but they're your partner. They're walking with you, man. And I think that's a powerful perspective or image to have, where you're like, you know what, I'm not, of course you want to win, you want to do it for you, but winning for others, winning for a team, winning for your mom, I think that has so much more core value than just, look at me, I won, right?
Yeah.
I did it for them, you know?
Yeah. And you know what, like, when I lost, I was like, I really don't care about like, I was like, all right, I lost, whatever, fuck it. You know what I mean? I got my ass kicked, whatever. But I was like, fuck, like, I let her down, you know what I mean? And so and I know when I mean, your mom is your mom, you know, when you call them, like, when I call her, she was just like, no, you didn't let me down, mijo, and blah, 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 whatever, right? So, but, I mean, yeah, I mean, you're going to tell me that because you're my mom and shit, right? But, and like, me, in my mind, I did let you down, you know, I came up short, you know what I mean? And when I should have stepped on the gas instead of pulling off of it, you know?
I remember growing up as a kid, I did a lot of dumb things, and I would get hit a lot, you know? My dad would spank us and stuff. And I was already like 16, 17. And I did a stupid thing. And instead of my mom, I was expecting my mom to hit me, right? And she goes, I'm not going to hit you because you're already old enough. She's like, but I am going to tell you this. She's like, I'm disappointed. And I was like, fuck, bro. That was like, I was like, just hit me. Like, that will feel much better than that feeling of, oh shit, I let my mom down. Man.
Yeah.
You know, because never before she had never told me that. And I was like, fuck, dude. Like, it was a terrible feeling, man. And I told myself, never, ever let her down again. You know? And like you mentioned, like, dude, my goal in life is to turn around and say, Mom, you're set. You're good. You know, you don't have to worry about anything. And I know you mentioned that too, and I think that's...
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I mean, of course, I want to do it for myself too, you know, because I'm gonna enjoy it too, and the fruits of it and stuff. But shit, I would like for her to enjoy it too while she's still here, you know, and she retires in 2 years. So I was like, man, I gotta make something happen in 2 years because I want her to be good when she's done. You know what I mean? Not have to worry about shit. But yeah, I mean, she's always had my back. Just like any Mexican mom has her kids' back. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel like the people here in the valley, I mean, yeah, you have your parents that whatever. You know what I mean? But like us as Mexicans, like our mom is gold. You know what I mean? We gotta take care of them and shit. You know. Because they always have your fucking back.
Always,
you know what I mean?
Always. Yeah.
And they always had my back. Well, she always had and my dad too. You know, but my mom still has my back to this day, and I gotta get back to her. You know. Absolutely. So every time I always try to just get back.
And speaking of getting back, I know you I'm not sure how recent, but you started training your own athletes.
Oh yeah.
How does that feel to transition from I'm being coached to now people are relying on your expertise and your advice?
I've always wanted to do that. You know what I mean? I would like to bring. So right now it's Itzel Padilla, and she's fighting May 20th. Yeah, no, May 19th. Sorry, and then I have Enrique. I forgot his last name, but Enrique, he's from Barras. I think Barras. He's from Cancun.
Okay.
And it's crazy how we met, but now I get him fights and kind of like a little manager or whatever, but I don't charge them I don't charge them at all, you know, and I do it just because I like to see them, like, because he tells she's a beast. Like, the people who know who she is, if you don't know, like look her up, you know what I mean? But if you do know, like, they know what I'm talking about, you know, and she's really good. She's putting in a lot of work. I've known her since she was I didn't know her the way I know her now, but I've known of her because her parents would always take her to the SCFC events here, and she was a little girl, and all the fighters around here see her as, she's our little sister, you know. So we try to help her out and stuff. She's always welcome to every gym that is from here, and everybody always wants to help her out.
That's awesome.
Because we want to see her, and I feel like she will, you know what I mean, and yeah, well, I've cornered her for the past her first 2 fights. And she's 2-0 right now.
How does that feel, man, to be on the corner?
It's badass, you know. I mean, I've been in the corners before, like with Diego and stuff, you know. It's just cool to see, like, Itzel doing her shit, you know, like living her dream. She's starting off, you know, and she's 2-0 right now, you know, and she's fighting over here in Lux. It's a Mexican promotion, so they have their shows over there, and like the last one they had with her was in Monterrey. Yeah, Monterrey. Yeah, she fought, and then she had one. Her first one was in Puebla, and that was pretty cool to go check out over there. I've never been into Mexico that far and deep into it, but yeah, and now I'm helping her get ready for her next fight, and then Enrique, he just fought boxing, but he trained with another gym. He I didn't train him for that fight. Okay. But he asked me if I could corner him and stuff. I told him, hell yeah, I'll corner you. That's what I'm here for, you know. And then so I helped him out, and it was pretty cool to corner a boxing match. I had never been in a corner in a boxing match, and he did good. He won. He fought here in Mercedes. He flew in from Cancun and he fought here, and he did real good. Yeah. So, and he's young too. He's barely turned 20, and Itzel, I think is 20 also. Yeah. So I mean, they have a bright future for them too. Yeah.
I know you mentioned earlier when we were talking that you found a way and you were cleaning mats. That's how you got in. And I know in the valley we have we have a large community that is not that financially well off, and there's athletes that in all sports, right? But specifically fighters that are up and coming, and they don't have sponsorships, they don't have extra money to go get a private coaching or a gym. How did you do it, and what advice do you have for them?
Well, shit, bro. When you really want something, like you'll figure you'll figure it out. You know how you want to do that. You know, so yeah. At the time, I didn't work. I was a junior when I first started training, and I went to the jiu-jitsu school, and I told him straight up, I was like, look, man, I don't have a job, but I want to try it out, you know what I mean? Like, I want to do this. And he was just like, all right, we'll just come train. Just show up. You know, if you show up every day, don't worry about it. And just like help me clean out the mats. You know, the mats, keep the gym in order and shit. I was like, all right, fuck yeah, I'll do that.
Awesome.
So then that's how I started. You know, and show up. I would train, and then once the class was done, a few of the guys there would always stay and help you clean up anyway. So I mean, it was just like, all right, cool, boom, we'll clean up real quick and just get out. You know, make sure everything was clean, the restroom, whatever, and then just head out. And then, so I mean, it was never just me by myself. You know, there was always like, oh, I'll help you out. You know, I'll stay. All right, cool. So he'll get a mop. He'll get a mop, and boom, we start cleaning the mats. You know, so. But like, man, if you want to do something, I mean, you really like it, you'll figure it out. Whatever it is, you know. And I know some people will be like, nah, well, I don't want to ask and this and that. It's like, well, then shit, like, you're never gonna get nowhere then. Like you can't be like too prideful to ask somebody for a helping hand, you know. Especially when you're trying to do something with it, you know what I mean? Like you're just not doing it just to do it for a week and be like, all right, deuces, I'm out. Like I don't care, you know. And like if you're gonna give it your all and everything, well then fuck, ask for help and people will help you and shit. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. I know you talked about the rapper and the too blessed to be stressed, but moving forward, I know that that's a great mindset to have. You know what, man? The stresses of the world are crazy, but I'm blessed. I got my mom, I got myself. You know, you got a family,
sure. And that's why I liked it too. I was just like, man, that's so true. You know, what the fuck? Like, what am I gonna complain about? I don't know what other people's problems are, but I don't like, you know, I am too blessed to
Absolutely.
be stressing over shit, you know. So just like the little things, you know, you kind of like you stress over it. You're like, man, why the fuck am I even stressing over this? You know, so.
Is this one gonna go on shirts or?
So I do want to make some shirts on this. I'll let y'all know. I'll definitely let everybody know. But I am gonna put this on a shirt. Yeah, nice. This is probably the next one. And I have some other logos, but I really like this one. And I want to make something with it. And
I'm 4XL, bro. So you're gonna need a colcha again. But I'll link his Instagram below. That way you can give him a follow, and whenever he drops the link, you guys can order through there. I got a special request.
What?
For our viewers.
Well, okay.
We got well, one's for me, bro. I'm gonna be selfish. If you wouldn't mind, graphing one for me, the classic red and yellow or red and gold.
The Everlast.
Yeah, one's for me though, and the other one we're gonna give away to a random
badass. That's
viewer.
Dope. Hell yeah.
Heck yeah, bro. Thank you so much. One of you guys is gonna get this. I'll leave it out here, man. Thank you so much, brother.
Hell yeah, that's badass.
There's just something about that. It reminds me of the Rocky movies, that classic red.
Yeah, these gloves right here. Yeah, bro. It's old school.
But yeah, man. So post training, I know we talked about you gotta eat, bro. You gotta eat. You gotta get that glycogen replenishment. In the valley, is there a spot that you say, you know what, man, I want to eat good. I'm gonna go here today. What are some spots here in the valley?
Okay, so if I'm getting ready for a fight, I'll go to Fit Grill. They have some good food.
Shout out Fit Grill.
Yeah, shout out Fit Grill. They really do have good meals. And they have a menu and shit there too. So their food in the menu is delicious too. I always munch on that. If I don't have a fight, I mean, even if I do have a fight, or if I don't, I'll go to either or. You know what I mean? I just order different shit. But if I want to eat good or something like heavy, I'll go to Yasuke and munch out on some sushi.
They got awesome.
And shout out to Yasuke.
Shout out to Yasuke, yeah. Dude. They have awesome ramen. Have you had the ramen?
Yes, I have. I'm not a big fan of the ramen.
But
Not of ramen from there. Just ramen in general. Okay. I like sushi. You know what I mean? And I never did before. It's funny, but Ivan and Diego everywhere I'm always like pretty much with them, right? When Diego fights and stuff, I go, and they always want sushi. So then one day they were just like, dude, like how can you not like sushi? Just try it. And I was like, nah, bro, I don't like raw fish, you know. So I would always order like chicken and white rice, chicken teriyaki, and put teriyaki sauce on it. And then one day I was just like, all right, fine, I'm gonna try it. And then I tried it. I said, damn, this shit's good. And then ever since then, I just fucking.
What's your go-to roll? Like, what's your favorite roll?
I like Fortune. They have one there, Moody Blue. It's okay.
What does it have? I gotta try it.
I don't even know.
No, it's good.
But it's good.
Just get the Moody Blue when you're good. Yes, okay.
I like the sauces that they put on top and the raw fish that it's like 3 different ones.
Okay.
Or 2 different ones. No, I'm sorry, 3. Yeah, it's 3 different ones. I'm not gonna tell you the ingredients because I really don't know. But it's a good roll. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Cool, brother. Well, guys, it was a pleasure having Mr. Victor the Brick Martinez on our show today. Make sure to be on the lookout. Follow his Instagram. Whenever his next fight is, I'm fucking excited for that. Thank you so much for joining us, man.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you having me.
Sir, man.